You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. This is podcast 360 on the Sports Coma, 360 on the Sports Coma. We'd like to thank all y'all for joining us. That round of applause is for you and yours. We say in New Orleans for joining us here on the Sports Coma, and we are the number one independent Saints podcast in the land. Number one independent. And we'd like to talk on the Sports Coma about we die hard Saints fans to the core, man. No disrespect to anybody who's not a Saints fan, but unless you don't want to hear black and gold talk, you got the wrong channel, partner. On podcast 360, we're going to talk about the news and notes. Saints rookie minicamp. We're going to recap that with some information, give you the latest additions. Also, we got a buttload of interviews from Coach Sean Payton, defensive back Coach Aaron Glen chiming in, and of course rookies, defensive back Chauncy Gardner Johnson, who's been just looking really good in the rookie minicamp, and offensive lineman Erick McCoy. We'll talk about some of that today on the podcast. So without further ado, like I said, I'd like to give y'all a round of applause. Who Dat Nation, Black and Gold Mafia, and the entire Saints family across the globe. Welcome to the Sports Coma. And both new and established fam. So without further ado, let's get right into it on podcast 360. Man, it's with the Saints, man. What can I tell you, man? It's just terrific. Saints doing it all, man, in a major capacity. I just think that, a lot of things that, we see happening with New Orleans, especially this time of the year, man, they're picking up a lot of moves. You had the free agency that just went on. And now the next stage of it, we got our rookies signed. All at the same time, by the way. All at the same time. They all signed, and they're raring to go. And, of course, here come the rookie minicamp. We were to take a look at some of these guys. We still had a few slots left to fill. Now, according to the Saints Wire, the Saints have a full list, about 87 players. So, according to them, they're saying they're 3 players shy. We'll go over that list a little later. But I wanted to give you some information pertaining to the undrafted guys. Of course, everybody's heard about, the play of the safeties, who we like to call now Chauncy Gardner Johnson, or CG J, I guess. But CGJ is really he looks good, man. I mean, from some of the footage that I seen him in camp, fluid, fast, nose for a ball. The same thing we spoke about on the previous show, and of course Saquon Hampton looked it pretty good too, didn't he? Looked real good. And another player that looked really good was Erick McCoy. I mean, he was a natural position for the position. Like, you look at depth charts across the NFL world, they have Erick McCoy listed as a starting center. That shouldn't be much of a surprise, being that the Saints went out and got this guy. But it's interesting, man, to say nothing the least. But we're going to cover some of that. We're going to call a lot of that on this very quick show today on the Sports Coma. We're going to talk about some of the fact that the Saints did sign a few guys coming out of this rookie minicamp. One of which are Saints did sign fullback, former Detroit Lion fullback Michael Burton to come on to the team. Of course, Burton, 27, was a 5th-round pick by the Detroit Lions back in 2015. After 2 seasons with the Lions, he was with the Bears for the past 2 seasons, and then he became a free agent. In 55 games on offensive defense, Burton had about, not much, 8 carries for 11 yards, 9 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. But, he'll be competing with Zach Line for the fullback duties. Now, very few people actually use fullbacks anymore. The Saints are probably a handful of teams that use the fullback. But Burton's on the team. We'll see what he can do. Also, outside of that, they did give a contract to wide receiver Cyril Grayson and cornerback David Simmons Jr. Now, if you know, Grayson is the speedy track star that was with coming over from the LSU Tigers. And the Saints, listen, they are really seriously trying to get this kick return, punt return thing, out of the way. Marcus Shrells was a guy that they picked who was accomplished at doing it. And they got a few guys in camp that they're really looking at to bring in to kind of make this thing happen. Now, of course, also the Saints did re-sign. We reported a couple of days ago the Saints released Chase Hansen, but the team has decided they have re-signed him. According to a report that was sent out by the Times-Picayune, they decided to re-sign him. And he's back on the fold, and that's really interesting to see what he can do to add some depth at the linebacker position. But also other signings that occurred as well as one that I'm deemed real interesting. The Saints did sign former Denver Bronco defensive tackle Sylvester Williams. Now, Sylvester Williams is a really big guy that the team was really interested in signing. He's a guy that just, he's one of those guys that could sneak on here and make a play. He could be a guy that can really fill in. He's an experienced defensive tackle. Is a mountain of a guy that's very difficult to move, and getting him here in it, he could play that nose tackle position. And remember, we be without Sheldon Rankin, so we definitely need to look at that. Now, other signings: defensive back David Simmons Jr. We talked about Sylvester Williams. Defensive lineman Janelle Grissom. We talk about Michael Burton. Now, Colton Jumper is on there. Offensive center Marcus Henry. Offensive tackle Uric Johnson. Running back A.J. Ouellette. Wide receiver Cyril Grayson Jr. and wide receiver Mika Wright. Those guys now on the active, on the 90-team roster as well. Now, additionally, 3 other players were waived. The undrafted rookies Darnell Holland, which, the little scat back we talked about. Darius Williams, which is the cornerback with size. He is no longer on the team. And former practice squad defensive lineman Tumasi Lule, who was with the team before, but the Saints decided, well, we're getting Sylvester Williams. We don't really need that guy anymore. And they sent them packing. So without before I go on with any more information and news, let's go over to the coach and see what his thoughts were on the rookie minicamp. Here's Coach Payton.
Well, look, it's a series of impressions, and for us more than anything, it's the installation, how they're picking things up. Are they learning it? Are they, able to take it to the field? Obviously, we're not instantly evaluating. There's certain elements of the game without shoulder pads on you don't realize until you get to training camp, and yet there are a number of players here on a tryout. There are a number of players here that we signed as free agents. There's some veteran players, and then there's the players we drafted. So there's a combination of 4 different groups of players.
First impression of Erick McCoy?
He's been good. He's smart. He's a guy that, you can see is experienced at his position. He's playing center. He's in good shape. Overall, it's been good.
Do you recall a veteran that's been in a camp like this that's ended up?
Billy Miller.
Billy Miller?
He was one. We've had a couple. Adam Thielen. Thielen was actually a rookie tryout. We went through a list of players, the first night they were here. But yeah, we've had veterans that have been in this camp that have helped us. There'll be a couple here we'll look at signing possibly, tomorrow or Monday. And, hopefully we can do the same with some of the rookie players.
That's Coach Sean Payton, man. Thoughts on the rookie mini camp. Made mention of a few players. Now, of course, this is a shortened show for the Coma, and we want to try to hit you with a few more interviews before the show ends. But without further ado, let's go into our next interview. and talk to Chauncy Gardner Johnson about his rookie mini camp and see what he thought about his young defensive back.
Needed that defensive back. Needed that
Keep it so I'm just here to work. I'm not nothing's given just because you get drafted. Like Coach said, it don't matter how you got here. So I'm just ready to go out there and work and compete with the guys. I think next week when we got OTAs, whatever it is, I'm just ready to go out there. Just be humble, open up to them, and just listen.
Is there any one specific guy or guys you'll be trying to, pick their brains?
All right, we're gonna cut that one short. There seemed to be a little sound issues with that interview. Let's hear Coach Aaron Glen with his thoughts on watching some of these guys, in particular Chauncy Gardner Johnson on his play.
He was telling us how he met you back at the opening in Oregon when he was in high school.
We butted heads. We butted heads then. We probably continue to butt heads now. That's okay. All right. I like that some players do, though, that can stand them for themselves. But you saw speed. You saw smarts. All right. You did see that. You saw a body that you like that's built to last. You could do a lot of things with them, right? Because you're not afraid to put them in the box and let them take on some of those linemen and be able to tackle these big backs that we have now. So, man, it's exciting. Like I said before, it's limitless on what this player can do. All right? We're just excited to have him, and I'm sure DA is going to make schemes for us to be able to use this player to make sure his versatility is used out there.
Did you stay in touch with him throughout his college career?
I did, and I would text him on and off, and he would always text, and especially when he had a good game, he would let me know it. Yeah. All right, so he would text me and ask me, did I see it? He'd know I saw it.
Right.
All right, but that's okay. But like I said, man, I love that player, just like all my other ones, man. And to me, I end up growing close with each one of them, right? And I always tell them, listen, I'm not your buddy, but I am your friend. All right, a buddy's not going to tell you, all right, what you need to know, right? But a friend's going to tell you, all right? And they all know that. So I try to have that relationship with all the players.
Wise words from defensive back coach Aaron Glen talking about the addition of Chauncy Gardner Johnson. And that's all I've been hearing is great praise about the man. I mean, he's coming in, he's making plays as we knew, the tip pass, the interception. I mean, it's just giving big love and big credit to the Saints staff. I mean, Jeff Ireland and the rest of those guys have done a terrific job the last several years of finding talent to come in and do some things with. Now, remember, Von Bell is a free agent. He got one more year left on his contract. Do you see the Saints signing this man back? Or do you see Johnson taking his position? Hampton's there. It's a method to the madness, and the Saints are going to address these positions with draft picks who are relatively cheap based, as opposed to going to free agency and paying all that money. I mean, you're going to have to pay Mike Thomas. You're going to have to pay Alvin Kamara. You got to pay these guys, and you're going to have to fill your roster with guys that don't cost that much money. I mean, just to be honest with you. I mean, that's just how the nature of the beast is if you're going to dole out big-time cake to a guy like him. But anyway, before we get back to the rest of the analysis, let's listen to one more big old guy, the second-round draft pick, Erick McCoy, talk about his camp. Here's McCoy.
Try to do too much early on, you know what I mean?
Well, you just have to realize that you're not in pads. The contact's not going to be the same. You're not going to get the same lead blocks and stuff that you're going to want to get without pads on, but you just got to do your best.
Playing time right off the bat, would you agree with that?
Sure. I'm not sure how to answer that one. I'm just looking to come in and compete, do what I can to help this team win. I think it's a really good fit. I'm loving the scheme so far. Like I said, I'm still learning, still making mistakes, and I've got a long way to go, but I'm definitely loving the scheme.
An adjustment from college to pro. I mean, have you felt that in this first weekend here?
Yes, I have. A lot more technical coaching, just working on my technique, stuff that I wasn't used to in college. And that's really something that I've got to put a big emphasis on going forward.
Schematically, the terminology, do you think it's going to obviously take an increase here as well?
Yes, it will. Terminology in college is pretty simple. I've learned just the first 2 days here that it is not simple. But like I said, I'm learning.
Is it fun just to get it started?
Yes, it is. The whole combine, that whole process is very long, very, very long. So I'm really excited to be here and actually be in this position.
Erick McCoy says he's very excited to be in this position, and I believe him. Why the hell wouldn't I? Why in the hell would I not believe what Erick McCoy says about being excited? He sure looks the part. I mean, he's getting more and more comfortable in the scheme, and Sean Payton did a really good job in bringing this guy in here, man, because obviously, I mean, he's the perfect fit for that center of that line. I mean, you had a big hole in Max Unger early in the year, and then you fill it with getting Erick McCoy in the second round, who he is first-round talent. That was huge, man. That was huge. And people really not going to start really appreciating that until the season starts and this guy's put on the pads and take it to him in the center of that line. Remember, we need Alvin Kamara, and we get McCoy with the push. We got Latavius Murray bringing it up. So, man, and of course, Eason brings good depth is there as well. I would say he'd be your sixth offensive lineman. Although I still say we need an offensive tackle, man. We need another tackle. Perhaps they'll find one. They signed a bunch of guys. We don't know who will step up to take the weight, but really interesting, man. Moving on, man. First of all, I just think it's terrific, man. You know, what some of the movements these teams have been making. Of course, the Saints might have an issue with Carl Granderson dealing with that whole situation that he's dealing with at Wyoming. We'll see how that goes. But let's take a look at the defense, man, right quick before, we leave this. This is as it stands right now, the depth chart for the defense for the Saints going into the camp, big camp, mini camp, when it starts. Starting with the defensive end, 6 currently on roster: Cam Jordan, Davenport, Trey Hendrickson, Carl Granderson, Corbin Kaufusi, and Genio Grissom. Defensive tackles, 8, Sheldon Rankins, Malcolm Brown, David Onyemata, Tyler Stallworth, Mario Edwards Jr., Ken Bigelow, Shai Tuttle, and Sylvester Williams. Linebackers, 11 of them: Demario Davis, Alex Anzalone, A.J. Klein, Craig Robertson, Vince Bigel, Caden Ellis, Darnell Sankey, Porter Gustin, Colton Jumper, Darrell Williams, Chase Hansen was added. Then you have 6 safeties: Vine Bell, Marcus Williams, Chris Banjo, Saquon Hampton, Chauncy Gardner Johnson, and J.T. Gray. Cornerbacks, 10 altogether: Marshawn Lattimore, Eli Apple, Patrick Robinson, P.J. Williams, Ken Crawley, Justin Hardy, Chris Campbell, Marcus Shrells, Jordan Wyatt, and David Simmons Jr. Then you have 4 special teamers, 2 snappers: Zach Wood, Nick Moore. Then 1 punter, of course, Morstead, Will Lutz are there. Now, quickly, we'll hit the offense real quick. Now, that's 41 players right now on the roster. Currently on the roster. And this is as up-to-date list as I can get. Now, let's bounce on offense. Now, you got 4 quarterbacks on roster. Of course, Breeze and Bridgewater. You got Taysom Hill and then J.T. Barrett. Running backs, 5 altogether: Kamara, Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington, Divine Exigbo, and A.J. Ouellette. And I kind of figure Sean Payton would like the Ouellette guy because he's a very shifty guy that makes guys miss. So we'll see. Fullbacks, Zach Line and Michael Burton. Tight ends, Jared Cook, Josh Hill, Alize Mack, Dan Arnold, and Garrett Griffin. 13 wide receivers now. 13 of them: Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn Jr., Cameron Merritt, Traquan Smith, Keith Kirkwood, Austin Cars, Sammy Cobbs Jr., Traven Durrell, Emmanuel Butler, LaJardan Humphrey, Deontay Harris, Cyril Grayson, Mika Wright. The tackles are Armstead, Ramczyk, Ola, Newton, Wozniak, Kelly, Derek Kelly, Ulick Johnson. The guards are Warford, Pete Clapp, Herndon, Ethan Greenrich, and then the centers are McCoy, Eason, Tom, and Marcus Henry. That's as it stands, all the guys on the active roster. A mouthful, but we did it. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us for the Sports Coma. Do me a favor before you go. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. Share our show with other people who didn't hear it. Let them know that we listen to the Sports Coma, the number 1 independent Saints podcast in the land. And of course, thank you for joining us. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. with personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals. Their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance, and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.